Barbara, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Why are all your businesses, including your latest venture, care about fitness or wellness?
For me, it's everything. You can have everything in order in your life, but if you're stressed out or when you're not healthy, that's could have a huge effect on everything on your life. And I saw bootcamp and I was like, this is amazing. Why don't we have something like this in the Netherlands? It was a big group of people, very American, of course, because with singing and everything that totally doesn't work in the Netherlands. So I created test bootcamp groups with my friends.
Okay.
They still hate me for that.
Are they still friends with you?
No. Yeah, when I found this notebook, it says, when I have 300 members, I want to quit.
Yeah.
Well, not quit with the company, but that's the maximum.
So that's like your peak. You can't handle more members.
Exactly.
Okay.
But eventually, we ended with 100,000 members. So
I was blown away when I saw those numbers.
I was like, what is this? I never experienced
The
something like
dopamine after effect is nuts.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And I thought,
What's up, folks? Welcome to Unravel with Manoj Aditya. Today's guest is Barbara Denbach, who's a serial entrepreneur, started a lot of companies in fitness and wellness. With her first venture, the Bootcamp Club here in the Netherlands, with 100,000 members, and then successfully started her next venture, which is a one-of-a-kind fitness studio called High Studios, which was later acquired by the Urban Gym Group. And now she's on to her latest venture, Care, which is focused on wellness and personal retreats. And so there's a lot of things to unravel here with Barbara. So Barbara, welcome to our show.
thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Great.
Quite excited.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm nervous too, but that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
So, my
We're
very
all
first...
human, right? Yeah.
I'm sorry?
We're all human.
Yeah, exactly. So my very first question for you is, why are all your businesses, including your latest venture, Care, about fitness or wellness?
Yeah, it's for me, it's everything. And you can have everything in order in your life, but if you're stressed out or when you're not healthy, that's could have a huge effect on everything on your life. It has an effect on your work, a huge effect on all the people around you, especially on your kids. Kids are just a reflection of yourself, what you do. So this is for me. It sounds cheesy, but I really would like to be, to offer something that actually could be, a change in someone's life.
Yeah, I think the idea about fitness is so important. And, today, in the last 5-10 years, fitness and wellness is spoken about so much that it's one of the biggest industries that people have been looking at. But you looked at this almost 10 years ago or even earlier.
Yeah.
Why was this so early on in your life? Why was this whole idea of fitness so early on? Did you see the business potential? Was that the reason, or was it purely passion?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question because it wasn't about the business potential at all. Because, well, the first few years I had actually no clue what I was doing. So everything was just passion.
Yeah.
So I had a few different employers before I finally had the courage to start it as an entrepreneur. I have a very different background. So advertisement agency, media agencies. But I was very fitness minded myself. So, and I thought, it was just a dream that I could finally do something that would actually make, a change in someone's life. So,
Right.
And then I saw Bootcamp in LA. And we're talking 2007 now. And I saw Bootcamp and I was like, this is amazing. Why don't we have something like this in the Netherlands? It was a big group of people, very American, of course, because with singing and everything that totally doesn't work in the Netherlands. But I saw this and I was like, we should have this because the whole vibe and the energy was so cool. And outside, and what we knew back then was just big box gyms and running clubs outside. We didn't had anything. We didn't have such a thing like this bootcamp. So when I saw this, I thought, oh, this is something what I would like to do, and then combine it with my advertisement and media background. So, create something new, something disruptive, branding wise as well. So yeah,
nice.
That's where it all started.
Good. And also, not a lot of people know this about you, but you come from a family of multi-generation female entrepreneurs, like almost 4 generations of entrepreneurs. So what was growing up in that environment like?
Yeah, it wasn't a huge drive or anything. And it wasn't my mom and my grandma. It's funny because they always said, oh, please just don't start for yourself because it's they said it's hard work and it's hard to combine with kids. And are you really sure you want this? And maybe it's better just, to find a nice job and then you have your income and it's, it's much safer to do this. But I didn't listen to that. So
what can you like give us a background on what did they do? Like, what did your mom do?
My mom, she owned a restaurant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Here, where?
In Amsterdam.
Okay.
Yeah. And
is it popular?
Yeah, well, it isn't here any longer.
Okay.
So
what was it called?
Eethuisje Kanterel.
Okay.
Dutch word. And my grandma, she owned a cafe in Amsterdam as well.
Nice.
In a very popular area, the Utrechtse straat. So she had that cafe until she was 70 years old.
Wow.
So that's very, very nice. So, but I think I always believe in this saying, monkey see, monkey do. So when you see your parents and your family doing this, then that's something that, I don't know, resonates or something.
Yeah.
You want this too. You know, when you see this, like, just want to be like that.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, sometimes it's like either you like your parents are like doing something and that you don't do it, don't get into this. You're always like, oh, you know what, I will get into this.
Yeah, I will show them.
Yeah, exactly.
I will prove them wrong.
But if they force you into getting into this, no, you have to get into the family business, and probably people would never get into the family business. It's always like people are very rebellious.
Yeah.
They exactly do what your parents don't tell you to do, at least. That's kind of what I see a lot.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes sense, actually.
It's fascinating,
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, where did you come up with your first idea? You were working in media and advertising.
Yeah.
What was that whole process like? Where did this idea come up? Like,
yeah, it was, I reskilled myself into a personal trainer in 2007.
Okay. So you were also a personal trainer.
Yes. A very bad personal trainer, I think.
Okay.
And when I started, I was like, I like what I'm doing. I like what I did, being a personal trainer. But I was like, is this something that I will do for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And it's very nice to be a personal trainer, especially when you have a lot of clients.
Yeah.
But from what I see with a lot of personal trainers, that when you go on holiday, for example, you go to Thailand for a month, you don't make any money. So if this, in the long run, it's not sustainable. It wasn't sustainable for me. So I wanted to create something else. And, with this advertisement and branding background, I really wanted to be, a difference, wanted to create something else in this whole fitness industry. Because in my opinion, it was quite dull at the time. We had great gyms, but big boxes and running clubs, etc. So we didn't have something, cool.
Yeah.
A cool brand with nice content, nice photography. So when I was in LA, I saw this bootcamp. And with a drill instructor.
Yeah. Like from the Navy SEALs or something?
Yeah, from the Navy SEALs, yeah.
Oh,
and I was like, this is so cool. This is so cool. People running around outside, and, we sit inside, we sit indoors, inside all day, So it's very nice that when you're done with work, just go outside.
Go outside, yeah.
And it's so good, for the vitamin D's and everything. And I was like, okay, let's give it a try. I think I can do this, you know? And so I created test bootcamp groups with my friends.
Okay.
They still hate me for that.
Are they still friends with you?
No. And, you know, and it was so cool because it wasn't just about this 60-minute bootcamp class. It was just about being outside. It was actually playing outside, feeling a sort of kid again. And the connection between the people was very, very nice because this is something that we haven't seen before, you know, with running clubs and running groups, but not in the gym, you know, when you're in the gym, you're just there with your headphones on and then
just minding your own business.
Minding your own business. So this was so cool. People got to know each other. And this whole vibe was amazing. And it grew tremendously.
Yeah.
So started with a few bootcamps myself, added a few new classes in Blaricum, which is at Gooi, that I was telling you about earlier. And then added more classes in Amsterdam and then created several packages like Bootcamp for Babes and 8 Weeks to Fabulous, which was an 8-week program with supplements and everything. And it grew. So, it was very popular.
How big did it get?
When I started, it's funny. It's very funny actually because I have this. I found this small book with my notes in it, a notebook, and it said, when I started, that was my vision. That, you know, back in the days, I thought, I start this bootcamp club, and I think I want to quit at 300 members.
Okay.
So that was my biggest goal. When I found this notebook, it says, when I have 300 members, I want to quit.
Yeah.
Well, not quit with the company, but that's the maximum. You know?
That's like your peak. You can't handle more members.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because then it's still a sort of boutique.
Yeah.
You know, and people get enough attention.
Yeah.
But eventually, we ended with 100,000 members. So
I was blown away when I saw those numbers.
Yeah. So so after a year, I started working together with a very close friend, with Ramses. And and we built this company with a franchise part, and it was it
blew up.
It blew up. Yeah, it blew up. So it was very, very cool. I remember that I had a very nice item on RTL Boulevard, and we were very small when I had this item. It was in the Vondelpark in Amsterdam, and then it was my website. It was down. You know, people were asking, "Oh, when are you coming over to Rotterdam? When are you starting bootcamp classes in Groningen? And where are you?" And I was like, working on it. You know, with the franchise model, and we didn't have anything. But you know,
you fake it until you make it, right? That's what I did too.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So that's where it all started.
Yeah, great. And also about business, I actually read an article about you, and you famously mentioned in the article, maybe I'll read it out loud. I'll never set up a business with a close friend again. A friendship is too precious of a thing to risk. What made you say this?
Yeah, it's funny because I just said, you know, started this company with a close friend, with Ramses. Where actually these were the best 5 or 6 years of my life. You know, when you just start a new company and, you know, feel this rush, and it's so cool to start. Well, you know how it works.
Yeah.
You were in the same place, so you understand.
Yeah, exactly.
And half of the time we're absolutely had no clue what we were doing, but we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're having fun, but you have no idea how people are even believing in you and paying for this.
Yeah.
This is like, whoa, this is so cool.
Yeah, it's so we were so flexible and trying new stuff every single day. And actually we created a big group of friends because all the bootcamp trainers and the people who were actually working on the office, they were our friends as well.
Yeah.
So we had Friday drinks, vrijmibo's. And it was we had a lot of fun. But when you work together for 5-6 years and then, you know, you want to move on.
Yeah.
And then we had different ideas about the next phase of the company.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm a creative.
Yeah.
I'm more a fire starter.
Yeah.
I love to start a company, being in this whole early stage development.
That's the best part.
That's the best part
yeah,
for me.
Same.
And, so I was kind of done after 5-6 years. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I want to move on with this.
Yeah.
And he had different ideas as well. So, and then, well, you have to sell your company. And then it's like, okay, who is going to sell his shares?
Yeah.
Is it you? Is it me?
Yeah.
And what is the valuation of the company? So, and
Tough questions.
Those are very tough questions, And since we just started with this idea, okay, we're going to change the world, but it's driven by passion.
Yeah.
It wasn't driven by money in the first place. Yeah, but then it was like, okay, what is the valuation? And then, we just we were ended up in, a big fight. And now it's okay. So we're, it cooled off for a few years, but now we're actually quite good and having lunches together, and we're seeing each other, very often. So that's good.
That's good.
But I will never do this again.
To never start another business with a friend.
I will never start a new business with a friend.
I will have to agree with that, and I would always recommend people don't start business with friends, because you might have to fire them.
Experience with it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I've started something with a close friend.
Okay.
It ended so badly.
Oh, really?
In the end, where I lost my friend, and we haven't spoken for like 6-7 years already. And my last company also was something that I started with someone close, and that our relationship just broke apart to a point where we eventually decided to sell the company. And then right now we don't talk about work. I told him, like, dude, if you want to talk to me, nothing about work. If you want to do that, then we can talk. So that's kind of what I decided to myself.
Yeah.
Not starting a business with a friend, not starting a business with a partner, never. I want to keep that separate.
Yeah.
As much as I can.
That's the best you can do.
Yeah, because it'll definitely ruin relationships at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because when you know, for example, if you with your best friend, you don't know your best friend while he or she is in business.
Yeah.
It is.
That is so true, because it shows people's different colors. When you go into business, when you start talking about money, it just changes people's perspectives. People change. People become different. You might have like a very fair opinion, but for their point of view, they might think you're not having a fair opinion. So it's very hard to put that whole conversation in something very reasonable where both of you can agree.
Yeah.
So
totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have a quite similar experience.
I mean, it's more like entrepreneurs. We've all been there at some point or the other.
Yeah.
So that's it's very good to know that you also feel the same, because I told myself that I'm never going to start, and I always recommend people also find someone.
But that's why it's good, actually, right? Because every time you're starting a new business, you have all these learnings, and okay, this time I will do different.
Exactly. So that's exactly what I tell myself too. Like my previous company, this is everything I've done, and these are all the mistakes I've done too. I recognize them, and I'm like, okay, the next company, I need to ensure that I don't make the same mistake again.
Yeah.
And if I'm repeating the same mistake again, then I'm probably not learning anything. So it's very important to also recognize, reflect upon what you've learned, and see if you can actually implement it. Because just recognizing is also not good enough. You need to also take action.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah,
Cool.
Totally agree. This is something this is what I do, what I'm still doing. Always keep learning, right?
Yeah, I think you can never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my next question is, a lot of people actually struggle about starting a business, but they love talking about business, but they never take the action. Why do you think this is the case?
I think a lot of people are insecure, don't know where to get started, just don't know where to start. They're always this, and this is the same I experienced. I mean, I had 12 employers before I started as an entrepreneur.
You had 12 employers?
12, yes, it's a lot. And I really wanted to start for myself. I really wanted to be an entrepreneur, but there was always this voice inside my head with, oh, what if I fail?
Yeah.
And what if I can't make it happen? And what if I don't have the right skill set to do this? And what if I don't make any money or can pay my rent or lay the mortgage? I mean, and I think a lot of people are struggling with this, you know, and this, you know, voice inside their head. And it's quite hard, actually. You need a lot of courage to start.
How did you break through that fear?
Well, eventually it's about that you find something what you really, really would like to do. I don't think money is the best driver, you know. Never. Starting a business because you want to make money, or starting a business because you want to be a millionaire. And well, in my opinion, that's not the right way, you know. So you need to start with something that you really, really like. And yeah, as I was saying, when I started my first company, it wasn't about this. It wasn't about money. I didn't even have a business plan or a budget. I just started because I just loved what I did. I just love what I do, still do. And I thought, okay, just let's give it a try. I mean, if I don't do it, I will always have this idea and I always have this question, you know, from what if, you know. And eventually when you start working, you know, when you're stuck in work, it's a very bad mental health situation.
Right.
You know, so for me, I just thought, okay, just let's go.
So it just happened one day to another?
No, because I worked, I had an employer and I worked for 4 days and then 3 days and then 2 days. And eventually I
So you were doing your own business and you kept your employer at the same time. That's pretty smart. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So your second business, which is the most fascinating business for me, which I actually was a member of.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. I'm so proud of that. That's very cool too.
How did High Studios happen?
It's exactly the same way like the bootcamp club. But this time it was in New York. I did a class, a Barry's bootcamp class. You know the concept?
No.
Okay, it's similar like Saints and Stars, just with regular treadmills. And
I love Saints and Stars.
Yeah, it's a very, very good concept. And I did this class. We're in 2014 now. I did this class, and I was like, "What is this?" I never experienced something like
dopamine after effect is nuts.
It's nuts.
Yeah,
it's so cool. And I thought, wow, is this a fitness studio? Is it a club?
Yeah.
What is it? Very American. Again, you know, guys without t-shirt running on these treadmills, red lights, loud music, everything. And I was like, this is something we need in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I know for sure people will like this. And then again, we had gyms, but big box gyms.
Yeah.
No boutique fitness studios.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Was High Studios the first concept in the Netherlands?
Together with Rose Cycle. We started in the same month.
Okay.
Yeah, so Rogier from Rose Cycle and we had a lot of contact these days, you know, with, just getting started. And, we will be the first pay-per-use studios in Amsterdam. Quite exciting. So we were the first. And this whole business, it blew up, especially in UK.
Yeah,
UK, it was huge. Boutique studios were popping up on every corner of every street, basically. Since it was a lot easier for fitness entrepreneurs to start a boutique studio because, well, approximately you need 300 to 500 square meters. So it's easier, you know, with less space, you can build the same business.
Less equipment as well.
Yeah. So yes, it was amazing. I did this for 6 years, High Studios. And
but where did you come up? I mean, like, what was the moment? Like when you moved when you saw the concept in New York, you flew to Amsterdam. Who did you talk to? How did this whole thing come up?
Yeah, I started with a business plan. It's funny because when you look at this business plan, it's totally something different than what it eventually was.
Became, yeah.
So that's why I don't do business plans.
I mean,
It doesn't make any sense.
but well, investors ask for business plans sometimes.
Yes, but it's like, of course, you need to know what you're doing, and you need to do your homework. And you need to dive in all the trend reports and everything, and that you have a sort of idea what you're doing. But it's very hard to put everything in a business plan, and because it should be fluid in the first year.
Because it never goes as per the plan.
It never goes. It's so
I
true.
don't like making business plans, but I have to make them because my investors ask for it.
Yeah.
But it never happens.
No, it never happens.
The business plan I gave them in a month, like 6 months later, it would probably be completely different.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, because it changes all the time. Because then you start with it, and this is exactly what happens now with care. You start with something and you think, oh, this is the way to go, but then you talk to someone, and then you come up with new ideas, and then eventually it will change again.
Yeah,
So of course, you have to know what you do. But put everything in just a business plan of 200 pages. I don't.
200 pages? My God, my business plan was probably like 5 or 10.
Okay.
I can't do 200 because people expect you, but I can't.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
sometimes I'm like a 1-page plan. That's it, because it's going to change anyways.
Yeah.
But I'll just stick to that.
Yeah.
So, tell me about the team behind High Studios. Did you have a co-founder?
Yes, his name is Han Dorenbos, and he created Tremor here in the city, and he started in Amsterdam, and so he has Tremor and Club Sportief.
Yeah.
And we were in contact while I was doing the bootcamp club, and we've met a few times. The fitness industry is a small industry, so everyone knows each other.
Everyone.
Yeah, everyone knows everyone, exactly. And so it's funny because he called me and he said, "Hey, I've heard that you sold your shares in the bootcamp club, and what is your next plan? What is your next journey? And I really would like to be a part of it."
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And then I said, well, actually, I did a Barry's bootcamp class in New York, and this sounds amazing. I think that we need this. I think that we need boutique fitness in Amsterdam. So, for me, it was very nice because, he has amazing experience, obviously, with indoor fitness when it comes to real estate and architects and everything. So, there it started.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it started.
Yeah. And who was your first few hires? People, because a team is what makes a company.
Absolutely.
And can you remember the key members from your High Studios time where you were like, okay, these were the people behind, they were the backbone of the company.
Absolutely, the OGs.
Yeah.
And they're still, we're in the same group, WhatsApp group. So the trainers, the coaches, a few front desk.
Can you name some of them?
Yes, my first trainer, his name was Adam.
Okay.
Adam Mol. Actually, he was a bootcamp trainer as well. So
you
I
guys
had a lot
go way back.
Way back.
Okay.
And it's so cool because I was like, Adam, I'm going to start a new company. Would you like to join me? And he was like, okay, immediately.
No brainer. Just say yes.
No brainer. Yes. When can we start? So, but I had amazing trainers, and still all of them are so cool, with a lot of passion. And we had trainers, front desk managers, studio manager, one of the best studio manager. I had Vera. Well, she works at Care now as a caretaker, as a trip planner. So it's what you say. I mean, the company, it's about your team. The people make your company. So, and I'm very, from all the things that I've done so far, I'm the most proud of that.
Right.
Creating, a nice environment and all the friendships as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when building a team, what did you see as the most challenging thing about building a team?
The most challenging thing about building a team, I think it starts with yourself
Mm-hmm.
and to understand, really understand where you're good at and where you're not good at. And then,
True.
build your team around this part.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to start a company with someone who is exactly the same, because then you
True.
have, twice of this,
Yeah.
So, so it really starts by know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
where you're good at, what kind of skills you don't have, and then build your team around this.
Yeah.
So it starts with this.
Yeah. I keep telling myself is hire people that are better than you.
Absolutely.
Because you can't be the best at everything.
No.
Identify what you're not good at and hire the people that are better than you.
Yeah.
Do you think you agree with that statement?
Totally. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't do it this way. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, well, not all of them, but I know a few examples of entrepreneurs, they think that they're the best.
Yeah.
When you have a big ego
Yeah.
and it's money driven and ego driven, when you run an ego driven business, it's very hard to hire people, to hire staff, to hire people who are better than you.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to see it this way.
True.
Because you think that you are the big
best,
boss.
yeah.
That you are the best. And I think
That's never going to work.
it's never going to work.
You're probably going to make money. You're probably going to build a small business, but I don't think you can build something great where people really enjoy working with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially ego-driven businesses. I've seen a few myself.
Me too. I've seen a few. And eventually this is just, because when your people are happy and where your crew is happy, and you create this amazing vibe.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. This is it. Everything is around this vibe. Vibes. I always said vibes don't lie.
Yeah.
So when my team is in place and people are actually love it, to be there and actually love to work for this company,
Yeah.
then eventually the guests will see this too.
Yeah.
The
customers will feel it.
The customers will feel it. It's the same when you go to a super nice restaurant.
Yeah.
When the environment is super cool, the interior design, everything is great. The
Yeah.
food is amazing.
The staff is nice.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, how was your day? That's enough for you to be like, okay, this is good.
This is good. But you also feel it when it's not okay.
You do.
That's the whole vibe, And then everything is okay. The food is okay. The light is okay. The interior design, everything is okay. But you feel there's something wrong in the team. You feel it. And that's the vibe.
And also, when I go to restaurants with a bad vibe sometimes, even though the food is great, I'm not really enjoying the food anymore. I just want to leave. The feeling of, when does this when does this meal finish? I want to go.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to have like a very positive vibe, especially with the team, because that translates into how the customers feel.
Absolutely. It's part of the experience. Yeah.
And also, High Studios was something that I used pre-COVID, and I didn't use it after COVID.
Ah, yes.
How did COVID impact High Studios?
Oh, it was just living hell. Yeah, it was so bad. COVID. I mean, I was the only label within the Urban Gym Group who was based on pay-per-use. Yeah. So you pay when you train.
But you guys also had a subscription, I remember.
We had subscription, but it was a very small part.
Okay. Because I was one of those people with the subscription.
Oh, so
but I canceled
I was
it.
very happy with you. But it was a small percentage of the whole database. So mostly people came through ClassPass and packages, 5 packs, 10 packs, single drop-in classes. So and then there we were.
How did you take the news? One day to another, it's like the government shuts down everything.
Everything.
And you're a business that's like not contact sport, but you need people, and people have to come to a closed space in order to work out.
Yeah.
How did your life change that day?
It was quite hard. I remember I cried. I was very anxious. Like, how on earth are we going to survive this with all these studios? But I was very, very happy with a super creative team around me. And I remember we sit down with the team and it was like, okay, we know what we can do. I mean,
Yeah.
the studios are closed, so what can we do? And it was finally we created High Outdoors,
Yeah.
which is exactly the same company as my previous company, as the Bootcamp Club. So I knew what to do.
Yeah.
And then, there we were with High Outdoors.
Yeah, I remember high
You were
outdoors
in the
as well.
park as well?
I didn't come to any of those parks because I was too scared of COVID. I was like, no human contact for a
Yeah,
bit, so
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't do it. But yeah, I remember about those as well. So
yeah. And it was very cool, actually, because then we had a new Bootcamp Club again.
yeah, but this high outdoors.
High Outdoors, yeah.
Yeah. And also, why did you name your studio High Studios?
Well, the name, the first name I had was High 45. And then I got sued.
By?
High Five.
Oh,
And it's not the High Five boutique, the boutique concept High Five, but it was High Five. Yeah, it's funny now. I have to name it to say who it is. It was a company in the business to business fitness industry,
oh.
and while I started with High 45, and
High 45 and High Five are two different things.
yeah, they're totally two
But they
different
sound
things.
similar.
And High Five was focused on business to business, and High 45 was focused on the business to consumer market, with boutique fitness. It was completely something different. And then he said, "You need to change your name, and because it's similar, and I want you to change your name." And I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that because I'm already in magazines and everything, and try to building this brand." And we had lots of content and everything, and I was like, "No, I'm definitely not going to change my name." And there he was again. "You have to change it because otherwise I'll sue you." So I said, "Fine, see you in court." And then I lost. Yeah. So it has been a ride.
Yeah.
But so I changed it into High Studios, and eventually that was a better name.
Better name.
Yeah,
compared to High
because there were
45.
more studios, and I was a huge fan of this Acne Studios sweaters.
I
You know the brand.
Studios. Yeah.
So I was like, this is quite cool,
It's
actually.
a cool name. I was wondering how you guys got the name because I thought you'd get sued for High Studios instead of High 45.
No, High 45, yeah. But still, people are calling it High 45.
Really? Oh, the OGs.
The OGs. Hey, y'all remember my first class is High 45 studio, and then it's like, okay, studios.
Right. So why did you guys eventually sell to Urban Gym Group?
Because we wanted to scale faster.
Was it pre-COVID or post-COVID?
It was, pre-COVID, I sold it in 2018. Okay. So luckily. So I sold it in 2018, and I sold my shares in the Urban Gym Group in August 2022. So so I sold it pre-COVID, and then COVID came. So
right on time.
Yeah, right on time. But also, I mean, I sold it to the Urban Gym Group because I wanted to scale with the company.
Right. So you didn't get a cash. You didn't cash you out immediately.
No.
So you got shares in.
I got shares in the Urban Gym Group as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And I changed roles. So I started as a CMO and later development. So just focusing on developing new fitness concepts. It was a great company. It was a very, very cool ride. With great professionals and a super cool team. But yeah, it eventually it became too corporate for me. And I'm an entrepreneur,
I know,
and I would like, and
I know.
Yeah. So I would like to create new stuff, and I'm the fire starter. So being in this corporate situation with, then again, very, very professional and great people, but it wasn't just my company anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to sell everything. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you sold everything in August 2022. Did you make a lot of money?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's great.
Enough.
Congratulations.
Enough. A lot of money. Just enough.
The reason why I'm asking the question is how did you celebrate? Like after the big exit?
I didn't celebrate. No, Well, we had this dinner planned with our friends in the Jane in Antwerp.
Mhm.
So there was a sort of celebration
Mhm.
with champagne, a little champagne moment. But afterwards, I was like, yeah, okay, what's next?
What am I going to do with my
And now
life?
what? You know,
Exactly.
I mean, I make money, but it's not enough to never work again.
Yeah.
And it's not something I always want to work, because I just love to work and love to create new stuff. And I had this idea. I mean, it was on my list for a very long time while I was in the Urban Gym Group and in High Studios as well, to do something with this wellness tourism trend.
Fair.
Yeah.
Most entrepreneurs are like you, so they already know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is like a very common theme, but the last entrepreneur I interviewed, who sold his company to GoDaddy for 75 million,
Okay. Yeah.
he also said
That's a different league, but yeah.
he said the exact same thing. He didn't celebrate as well. And I sold my company in December of 2023.
Yeah.
I didn't celebrate either. I don't know why. I just didn't.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make shit ton of money.
We should celebrate more, actually, because it's, yeah, we should be proud of what you've accomplished. But I don't know why I'm not doing.
I say the same thing, like you said, why you don't celebrate.
Yeah.
I say the same thing to myself, like, why do I not celebrate? But when it comes to me to actually celebrate, I don't do it. But I tell others to do it.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I think it's the same thing with Reza as well. It's
Yeah.
like a very, and that's what want to try and uncover. Why do people think like, okay, you start your own company and then you eventually exit for X amount of money, and then you just go partying, you celebrate, and you just go nuts. But people don't see this other side where maybe people don't celebrate. Maybe they're crying because they don't know what to do, because these people are not people that are working for money, but they're working for a vision, a journey. And when that journey comes to an abrupt end, they just don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah, that's totally the case. And it's also like, I mean, you sell your company, but it wasn't like, I remember I didn't feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sort of grief as well, because you were in this business for a very long time, and it's not just a 9-to-5 business. You work
all the time.
It's everything that you, this is your life work.
Yeah.
And then you sell it, and then it's like, okay, and then it ends.
It ends. You feel it.
You feel it. It ends with all the people that your whole team and all the customers and this whole vibe and also your routine.
Mm-hmm. Changes. Yeah.
It changes a lot, because
it just gives you a ton of time.
Yeah, and I always started, with a 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. class, and then I had some meetings while I was at the studios. Mm-hmm. And now I just didn't want to train at my own studios, because I was like, okay, maybe good, to have a little distance. So I was like, okay, do I need to have a gym subscription now, or what I'm going to do with it, So it's your whole routine, it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right. Also, as I was talking to you, there's a lot, your journey is not just a bed of roses. There's a lot of challenges that you've come through and a lot of failures.
Yeah.
What are some of the failures that really impacted you during your journey as an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a good question. That wasn't on your list. Ooh, a little surprise. The failures. I think one of them, I don't want to call it a failure, but I think one of the best learnings so far is that you have to trust your gut feeling. Mm-hmm. You always should trust on your gut. And if you feel like, this is probably not something that I should do,
mm-hmm.
but then you end up, with, but maybe it is good to do this, or maybe it will change, or maybe, it's a good investment, yes or no, and you ignore this gut feeling, and then eventually you end up with, eventually it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So you always should trust on your gut feeling. And it's the same when you ask 100 people for their opinion, you get 100 different opinions.
Exactly.
And if you're insecure and then ignore your gut feeling, then you might end up with a total different idea than
Yeah.
what you would, than what you would have in the first place.
Right. From the way I look at it, you're the person that bounces back, from all the challenges that is thrown at you,
Yeah.
like the lawsuit, the COVID, boot camp, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But you've never given up. You've constantly bounced back. Where does this energy come from, or this drive?
Yeah, I'm very grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think I'm more grounded than ever.
Yeah.
Now I know what I know what drives me,
Mm-hmm.
and I know what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I know what I'm not good at.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very important as well to know that. And when after I sold my shares, I did a lot of soul searching.
Mm-hmm.
Meditate a lot.
Yeah.
And not the type of meditating like sitting in a chair and then meditate or music, but I walk for hours and hours without music. And
Yeah. I did the same thing.
you did the same thing?
I walked around Fondel Park yesterday 4 times.
Yeah.
Just because I could. I don't know why, but I just do it because that's the only way I can relax and I can really focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, very relatable.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And if you have, if you're feeling stuck or you need answers, just go for a walk.
Yeah.
And then eventually, when you come home, you know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, and sometimes I walk and then I just talk to myself.
I do that too.
You do that too. So now I just have my earpods because otherwise people will like, who is
People
this
think
crazy?
you're crazy, so I do wear them sometimes too. Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, and it's,
Oh,
I don't
God.
know, it really, really helps me. So I know what to do. And of course, I had a lot of struggles and things happened. But yeah, I always like to, to start over and think, okay, this happens. Okay, is it a learning?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good learning. And now, what's next?
Yeah.
And what okay, you have to bounce back. That's nice, actually.
And you're a wife, a mother of 2, and you're also a startup founder. So for me, it's like you have 3 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
How do you balance life?
Yeah, this is a very good question. How do you balance life? It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. When your kids are very small, when you have young kids, it's just making sure they have everything, and then you can multitask a lot. I mean, I remember doing all these auditions and academies at high studios while I had my 2 weeks old son.
What?
And he was in the what's it called, in the carrier.
Oh, the cradle.
This wasn't again. So I remember I did this auditions and the academy with my 2 weeks old son, wearing him as in a carrier, and and that's just try to combine everything, multitasking, and it works because they were so small, and I would just take them with me, and that's okay. And
so
it
they
worked.
literally grew up in your work.
Yes, but now
is
they're
so
getting
cool.
older, and now it's different because now you can't multitask anymore because you have to be there as well, and emotionally you have to be present.
Yeah.
So while you're sitting on the breakfast table, and while you're just having, I don't know, sitting in your
Emails.
answering your emails or WhatsApp or anything, and then while your kids are around, now they're getting older, that's not going to fly because they feel that you're not there, you're not present, you're not in this moment, and they feel this, So it changes now. Yeah.
So,
but it's hard. It's very hard work.
How do you prioritize time now? Because
the best. Well, you should start with creating a very good team around you. So then again, I mean, building the business. You don't build the business. Your people build your business. So, and if you have enough faith in your whole team and give them this freedom, you know, then it will help you, because it doesn't make any sense to just it doesn't make any sense to micromanage everything.
So how important is family for your, success or emotional well-being?
Yeah, it's the main driver for me.
Like
My
how,
family.
like, does it come from your kids or your husband or your mom? Like, who do you go to?
My husband. Yeah. So every day, all day. So sometimes he said, "Okay, can you please shut up now?" Because I wake up and it's about business,
Yeah.
right? Oh, I just had this and this and this and this idea. What do you think? Or and he's like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, I discuss everything with him, and he's a very, very big support.
Yeah.
And he also is very into mental well-being. So he helps me a lot with this. He always said, just, okay, leave your phone for a while.
Yeah.
Go outside, let's do some breath work together.
Yeah.
And then he said, I have this feeling that you're very anxious
Yeah.
or very stressed at the
Yeah.
moment. I think you're stressed at the moment. So let's do some breath work. Let's go for a walk. So he really helps me with this. So that's amazing. I'm very, very happy to have him on my side. And my kids as well. Because, that's my driver.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your latest business, Care. What is this business and why do you think people should care about it?
Care about it. Nice. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm in love with my own company at the moment.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. I could stare at my own homepage. It's
a very pretty website.
That sounds obsessive, is it?
A little bit.
A little bit. Transformational travel.
Yeah.
Transformational travel experiences. It's so... I was telling you about the wellness tourism trends. I always like to follow these trends. So bootcamp was a trend as well. Boutique fitness was a trend as well. Wellness tourism is one of the biggest trends so far. It was before, but after COVID even more. People don't want to travel for the what these days, but want to travel for the why.
Yeah.
And we have a gazillion retreats out there. We have bookretreats.com, we have entrepreneurial.com, amazing marketplaces with thousands of retreats on it. And personally, I would like to go on retreats with my friends, but I couldn't find it, because there's so much out there.
There's so much out there, but you couldn't find it. That's a very contradicting statement. Why do you think so?
There wasn't a brand yet.
Yeah.
So you have all these amazing facilitators, all these amazing venues, all these amazing retreats. But it wasn't just a brand, It was all around the facilitator itself.
Yeah.
Around the yoga teacher or the meditation teacher, And then they go for a multiple day, I don't know, 5-6 days to a villa, and then they have a chef, and then they have their own experience with this, which is very great, but it isn't a brand and it isn't very scalable. So from a business perspective, I thought, okay, let's create this amazing marketplace, but with our own experiences. And then we create experiences with different facilitators in collaboration with different hotels.
Right.
Because hotels are looking for this as well, but they don't know where to start.
Okay.
Wellness tourism is big. It's getting even bigger. But it's quite new for hotels.
Right.
Because it's not the responsibility of a spa manager. It's not the responsibility of the F&B manager, for example, or the general manager. They want to start with it, and it's a lot of work, to finding to design the right theme, to find the right facilitator. It's a lot of work. And then selling hotel rooms from a marketing perspective is totally something else than selling retreats.
True. What can someone expect when they come to come to one of your retreats?
We have a few different options. So we have the active experiences. So hiking in the Dolomites, mountain biking,
Yeah, it's fun.
learn how to surf in combination with yoga, Pilates retreats. So we have these active experiences, and then we have the experiences with the focus more on personal growth. So we have this master your mind experience, for example, which will take place this Sunday. So we're
Nice.
quite excited about this. And we bring a brain expert. And then we create an amazing itinerary together with this brain expert and with a health coach. And then we combine breathwork, meditation, but also, from a neuroscience-based questions
You're right.
and workshops.
Very interesting. So, funny question, maybe I forgot to ask you. Is Care something that you've started all by yourself, or do you have a co-founder?
No, all by myself. Yeah, I'm going solo this time.
How does it feel to go solo?
Good, actually. Sometimes I miss to have this sparring partner.
Got it. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
From your whole journey, I feel like you've recognized the mind, body, and soul connection. And I also feel like you know that people are looking for this. So what has your feedback been about Care from the people that you've showcased it, or what are people telling you about it?
A lot of people don't know where they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You were telling me the same.
Yeah.
You have this feeling that you need some me time.
Yeah.
I definitely want to do something for myself. I need to invest in my health. I have this feeling that I'm stressed out, or I'm anxious all the time, or don't know what to do, don't know what my next step will be.
Yeah.
What kind of journey do I, what is the next step in my life? So a lot of people don't know what they're looking for. And I think the coolest part of Care, is that we take people on a journey and that let them experience stuff they never tried before.
Right.
And this is the whole idea, because if you've never been in an ice bath before, have you?
I want to, but I haven't. I don't know, why would I do it here? That's the problem.
Yeah, it's very cold. Yeah. Well, you have a lot of places where you can do this.
Okay.
But it's so, when you do this in a combination with breath work in an ice bath, or also, for example, go on a horseback ride on the beach, do something that you've never done before, and that eventually will bring you answers.
Yeah. True.
You connect more with yourself. Also in combination with connecting with other people, with like-minded people.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what I told you as well when we spoke about it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to book one of your retreats very soon. Probably,
So
I don't know
cool.
which one, but probably I'm going to book one where it's going to be warm. Definitely during the warmer time.
Yeah.
Definitely not where it's cold. So I'm going to look into your website. I'm going to book something. So I'm really excited about it.
It's so cool.
So we're coming to the last question. So finally, it's an end.
Yeah.
So from your experience, what is your advice to prospective founders?
It sounds so cheesy, but just do it.
Yeah.
Go for it. When you're anxious or you don't know where to start, you never know until you do it, until you actually do it. It's trust on your gut feeling.
Yeah.
Do your homework. That's very important. That's to start with.
Yeah.
Make this analysis, have a look. Are there any other companies who are doing exactly the same that I want to do? Have all your competitors in place? Read all the trend reports. So do your homework. But then try to visualize your own company.
Right.
For me, that's I always visualize everything, how it should go and what it could be and how it should look like even after 5 years.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how far into the future do you visualize? But 5 years. So how big do you think Care is going to get? Just sort of curiosity.
I don't know. Yeah, I think because it's an international company now. So my biggest dream is to tap in the US market.
Yeah.
That's my biggest dream.
Yeah. They don't have much of these in the US, I think.
Oh, well, yes, they have. Well, they have a lot of retreats. The best facilitators
Right.
are from LA, actually. And so there's a huge market out there. And from what I see so far, we're just here. We're here for a few weeks now. I mean, I've been working on this concept for a year and a half, but we're alive for a few weeks. And I see how people react on this, and it's so positive.
Yeah.
And they're all, and we don't have any reviews yet. We don't have testimonials yet. You know, we're just here. We're working on all these great content, designing all these retreats, meeting great facilitators, all the hotels. People are so enthusiastic about this. So yeah, I think this will.
And you're already sold out for your first retreat, so
yes.
That's already that's enough validation in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited.
And it's so cool. You know, I was talking to this lady yesterday. She will join the Master Your Mind in Portugal. And she was like, "Oh, I'm an exhausted mom. I have 2 kids, 2 girls of 6 and 8 years old, and I'm exhausted. I'm so tired, and I feel, you know, I'm so in desperate need of some me time."
Yeah.
And then she said, "I look on your website, and then you talked about transformational experiences." And she said, "It gave me goosebumps because this is exactly what I'm looking for." And then I was like, "This is what I want to do."
Yeah,
I
this
want
is
to
what makes you happy.
This is exactly what it makes me happy, because I just can't wait to show her this into, you know, to bring her in this journey and show her stuff that, you know, and that you can experience stuff that you never done before. And that's so, that's my driver.
Great. So we've come to an end, and good luck with your first retreat next week. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
it was
you for
really
having
great
me.
to have this chat. Any last words?
No, no, we talked a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks again for having me.
Yeah.
I feel very honored to be on your show.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Love
on
your show.
Thank you.
I think it's a great idea.
So thank you everyone for tuning in to Unravel. Today's guest was a very inspiring story about her personal journey into becoming an entrepreneur and fighting her way through the fitness industry and now into the wellness space. So until the next episode, stay tuned, stay healthy, and stay curious. Thank you for watching the show. We're done.